Alright YouTube, this is Brian Vitamin C Entertainment, and today I'm going to show you how to do multi-track recording with the X32 console and Ableton Live 11. Okay, first thing you're going to have to do is make sure your USB is plugged into the USB interface. There's a couple USBs on the back of the mixer. Make sure it's the one that says 32 channel USB audio interface. That's like your sound card that works with computers. There's other things too, so don't get them mixed up. Otherwise it won't work. Let's start up Ableton. We're going to see its default view. Its default view is what's called live mode. If you go to the top right of the screen, you'll see these two little buttons, like hot dog and hamburger kind of, or something like that. Composition mode. So you'll see it kind of arranges the tracks kind of horizontally. Let's go to options. We'll go down to preferences. We're going to make sure that it says ASIO, X USB ASIO driver, input configuration. It should be the first 8 channels. None of these you should have to change if you're doing this exact setting. If you need more channels, you can just highlight more of these channels, but we only need 8, so I'm going to keep our menus clean by just putting 8 in there. But you can add 32. Output has outputs as well. Okay, that's good. So now my audio settings are verified. File, open recent, and this is what we're working on today, is an 8 wireless mic recording preset. Look at that. So what I have here are 8 channels. Let me point out a few things here. Channel 1 has input number 1. You can drop down menu. You notice how number 6 is kind of green. That's because I actually have a mic plugged into 6 right now. You notice that channels 2, 2, 3, 3, all your channels should match. This wasn't by default. I had to do these settings manually. The other thing you want to make sure is that each channel is set for a recording. So you click on this button. If you click just on the button, it will unhighlight everything else. So you have to hold down Control while clicking so you can select all 8 of our tracks today. So we have our audio settings checked. We have 8 channels. They're set to record. All the channels match up with our inputs. So we're pretty much good to go. That's the whole setup. It only took about a minute. Now here's how we start our recording. Let me show you a few board settings that I've kind of thought of. Alright, right now I have just a standard vocal microphone. I have my channels mostly at Unity. I'm kind of working with one hand here, so. But I have my gain really high. That's higher than I would in a live setting. It really gives the board a lot of signal to work with and makes for a better recording. You just want to make sure that you're not clipping, because clipping is lost signal and will sound bad. So make sure none of the mics are clipping. You'll notice that my output, my main output, is very low. You notice I can hear the microphone through the speaker, but it's not blowing me out. If I turn that output all the way up, I would be getting crazy feedback. But because I want a high input gain for my recording quality, then that's okay. We're just going to make sure that we have about 1 orange light is good. 2 is okay, but you don't want to go into 3 because then you're very close to clipping. All right, so you can see kind of like the working setup, how people could, do their panel. They can hear themselves through the monitor. They can make sure that their mic sounds okay. That doesn't sound funny because you got a monitor. Now all you got to do is at the top, you just hit record. And you'll notice that it starts to fill in different waveforms. So what do we got? Our channel 6 here, you can see the waveform recording. Obviously with 8 mics, you would expect all of them to have waveforms whenever they're recording. I would definitely check every single mic in this setting first before you kind of move on. All right, another thing I want to show you, so this is recording, this will run for the whole show. The other thing I want to show you is a backup. Right here, you have a USB plugged in, you hit view, You'll notice it's like a little tape deck looking thing. Hit record. This will give you just a left and right main recording. So that's a really good backup in case, you know, something goes funny with this. All right, I got my main recording going, my backup going. Now let's hit stop. Okay, let's say I want to check and see if these are working well, that it sounds okay, and it should. But our playback device is also the console, so we're gonna have to do one setting to hear it, to have it play back through the console. You go to the routing button. On your inputs page, you'll see at the bottom left, inputs, record versus play. You know, 99.9% of the time we're using this mixer, we're just using standard recording features. Like we use it to pull in inputs and then send them out. But play allows you to use this mixer as kind of like a playback device. So I'm going to turn the encoder to play and then press it to confirm. Notice that the play is now lit up. So check this out. You'll notice that my mic is no longer active. I'm talking into it, but there's no monitors, there's no meters, because it's not really a recording mixer right now, it's a playback mixer. So what I can do over here is just click somewhere.
You can see the waveform recording. Obviously with 8 mics, you would expect
that's the recording of me a minute ago.
Waveforms whenever they're recording. I would definitely check every single
over
mic
there
in this setting first before you kind of move on.
Okay, so I'm gonna hit stop.
All right.
So what that allows us to do is go back and play it. You can check each mic check 1, mic check 2, mic check 3. Go back, make sure they sound good. And then once you're good with your playback, go back to recording mode. And then you'll see, you know, your mics will kind of act as expected again. And then you'll be able to record. Okay, so let's say we did all that. Okay, good stuff. I'm gonna hit stop. That was my sound check. Now I'm gonna hit record. Now it's gonna record over this stuff. So you see it's kind of recording a new waveform. That was my sound check. This is my real edit. And then of course, when you're done, make sure that you save this file. Obviously, you go to File, Save Live Set As. I'm currently recording. Sure, that makes sense. Okay, File, Save Live Set As. And then you're gonna save it with a file name that's obvious. And there we go. So that's your multi-track recording, up to 32 channels. We've got our backup going here. And you can kind of bounce between record and playback mode when you go to your route settings, inputs, and your input kind of mode. All right.